everyone, Auntie Tambarambaa, also known as Tammy Porter. Thanks for stopping by my YouTube channel. And today I'm going to play with the new tag pads that Marlene has brought out. So there's two different styles. So I've used both of them. And then I've also used the Funky Florals collage paper. I've used both of the new stencils. So there's Lacy Mandala and Pretty Shapes. I've used the quote book. I've used white gesso. I've used a Gibberish stamp, and I've used some brushes, the sticky glue, and then a whole heap of paint colours. So I've got cheesy, happy, ballet, and punk, and wine, and royal, and I also use Smurf, azure, and forest. So lots and lots of colours. Okay, so there's two of these pads. There's a red one called Sun Style, and the yellow one is called Moon Style. So I've grabbed one of each, and they are super thick paper, so 450 GSM, so they will take anything and everything that you throw at them. So perfect for mixed media. So I've grabbed one of each. You get 21 tags in each of the paper pads, and they come from the new release that Marlene released in October, which is amazing. And this sheet I've also grabbed from the Collage paper Funky Florals. What a beautiful piece of paper. Like, I don't know if you know that all of Marlene's art that you find in her paper pads and in her die cut books, they are all hand drawn. So they're not digitally drawn, they are hand drawn and coloured by her. And sometimes she changes the colourings, but she does it all by hand, so it's pretty awesome. And I love, love, love that sheet that I pulled out. So straight away I saw there were a few rosy flowers in there, so I thought I'd cut those out and they will become the focal point of my pages. Now, one of them I cut out had a couple of them had a pinky tone and a couple had a yellow tone. So I thought, right, well, I'll put the pinky flowers onto a cool background. So I used Royal, Smurf and Azure with a little bit of gesso and just kind of did an ombre from light down to dark across, down from the tag. And they're the ones I'll pop the pinky flowers on. And then for this one, I've used wine and ballet and funky. And I have done the same, starting deeper at the bottom left and working lighter up to the top. And a bit of gesso as well. And the bit of gesso just gives you that natural look of some depth and some light. It's not completely flat, and I really like how that looks. So then, just to hide that sort of join where the paint was, I've come in with the wine again and added it to the bottom left corner, working my way up a little bit, and I used the Lacy Mandala stencil, popped it down, then with a damp baby wipe I've pulled some of that paint off, and you get that lovely texture. And I've added a little bit of the funky to the top right hand corner as well, just so my background's not completely flat, and so it's interesting, and you can tell there's something happening in the background. So then I grabbed out my yellowy flowers that I'd cut from the paper and placed them where I thought I wanted them to go, and I simply drew in stems using the marker pens. So there's a dark green with a lighter green, so they're perfect for just drawing them in myself. Now I've stuck down the flowers, and I just decide that the flowers, particularly the yellow ones, were just a bit, I don't want to say brown, but a bit mustardy, bit too muted for me. I like bright colours. So you'll see me do it a few times. I come in with a few different paint colours and markers and just try and brighten them up a little bit. And in the end, I'm pretty happy with that. And then I outline with some a marker pen, and I add some markings to the flowers as well, because I just want it to look like I haven't just cut them out and stuck them on. I want it to look like I have created those gorgeous flowers. And now I'm just adding a little bit of shadowing with a Stabilo oil and a water brush, just on the sort of underside of the flowers. I am creating that. And I do want to point out too, with the other tag with the purple and blue background, the purple, how it is in the video is how it looks in real life, but in the photos, there's something about when I photograph, I don't know if it's my settings on my phone, but it doesn't pick up purple well, so it looks more bluey toned. But in real life and on this video, you can see much more of the purple, and it's much more true to life. So while I've been chatting about that, I have just added in a quote using the yellow quote, think happy thoughts, and this is where I'm fluffing up the colours of the roses a little bit. I also added some background stamping. So Gibberish is a stamp from a few ranges ago, but it's just so versatile, and I used it just a little bit in that bottom part of the tag just to create a little bit of a background. I probably should have stamped it first before I put down the flowers, but that's okay. That's what art journaling's all about. It's about changing your mind and adding and thinking, oh, I should have done that first. So then I'm just adding some highlights, and then I think I add some little dots to the background, yeah, just using the marker pens, and I think that's about it. Yeah, so I'm calling that one finished, and now I'm going to work on the other one. So this is the one with the purple that I was talking about, and the bottom left hand corner is that beautiful royal colour, that gorgeous deep purple. And so I thought, I've taken the Lacy Mandala for a spin, so let's use the other stencil, which is your Pretty Shapes one, which is a bit more geometric, and I have popped that down with the royal, and then I pulled it up through the stencil, and it gives a beautiful background, and I also added a little bit of azure to the top as well. And now I'm doing the same with some ballet. So I just dry it off in between each layer and just sort of fluff around until I'm happy with that background. But this purpley blue background, cool background, is beautiful. So, and then I did remember to use the Gibberish stamp before I put down the flowers. So I'm basically just repeating what I did in the first tag. I add some stems in just using the markers, and I just want it to be a little bit different to the other one, not exactly the same. So I think I create 3 stems this time, and then I am just sticking down the flowers, and then I just use the markers to, they had a little bit of mark making in the flowers, so I thought I'd, you know, draw attention to that and add to it. So I did that with just some of the markers. And now I'm just creating a little bit of shadow work with some paint. And I think at this stage, yeah, I do decide that the stems are not standing out enough off of the purpley blue background. So I come in with some of the forest just to deepen up those stems and leaves a little. And then I repeat with just adding some scribbles, both to the foreground of the flowers and outlining the background and the stem work as well, just with a black marker pen. And now I come in adding highlights, and you can see that helps it to pop a lot by adding some highlights with the green marker. And now I'm just faffing. I'm just deciding, do I want more, a bit more texture in that bottom right hand corner? And I just keep adding. So punk is great for adding a little bit of vibrancy and a little bit of a hint of something in the stenciling. And now I find a quote again, and I use a pink one this time, and it's live simply, bloom wildly, which is perfect for these tags. So lots of fun, these tags. I will do the back of them at some point later down the track, but they are super thick. You won't need you know, you'll be able to add lots of water and it won't be a problem. So I just want to take the time to say thank you so much. I'll leave you with close-ups. You're going to have to imagine that purple there because I just couldn't get it to show up on my photos, so it's a bit annoying. But I'll leave you with close-ups. Thanks so much for being here. I would love to hear from you. I love it when you guys let me know that you are here because I often wonder who watches my videos. So I love you to leave a comment. It also helps other people find me so that they too can enjoy my videos using lots and lots of Art by Marlene products. So that's it from me. I'll be back again real soon. Have a great week. Bye.